The men's and women's cross-country teams will host the Wisconsin Adidas Invitational on Friday at the Zimmer Championship Course at University Ridge. The women's race starts at 11 a.m., with the men's race scheduled to start at 11:45. Director of Cross-Country and Track and Field, Mick Byrne, is here. We'll have some opening comments, then take questions.
As we head into Adidas, we've got 3 meets under our belt on both men and women's side. Some great storylines coming out of the 3 meets. Most notably on the women's side, our 2 milers from last outdoor season, Sarah Descens and Molly Hansen, stepping up big time this season in cross country. I'm not sure that we totally expected that, but Sarah Descens winning down in Louisville last weekend was a great confidence boost for the team. I expect her to go on to some great things as the season progresses here. And when you add Melissa Murphy and Gabby Anzalone to both of our milers, I think we've got a great foursome up front, and now it's just a matter of finding a supporting cast for them. On the men's side, we saw some great running by some redshirt freshmen, and always that's something that we're always looking for, to see those young guys step up to the plate and help out the big guns up front. Obviously, Malachy Shrobligin, the Big Ten champion from last year, and Michael Van Voorhis, which in itself is a great storyline. But to see some of our young guys really step up last weekend was good. And what you're looking for at this time of year is always improvement from one race to the other, and we certainly have seen that. So I think we're in a pretty good spot right now going into Adidas, but we all know Adidas meet is a lot different. It's the major leagues compared to what we've been facing the last couple of weekends. For the Adidas meet, we have on the men's side 15 of the top 20 teams, and on the women's side 14 of the top 20 teams. And when you break it down, it's 6 of the top 10 on the men's side and 6 of the top 10 teams in the current rankings. So we've put together a pretty good meet, and we're excited about that.
You guys have obviously had great runners over the last couple of years with Muhammad and with Maverick Darling. Hard not to compare a guy like Malachy to them, but what sort of potential do you think that he has? Is he that kind of competitor?
Man, I think he showed out last year. Big Ten champion as a redshirt freshman. I think we'd have to go way back in the history books to find a freshman that did that. Coming out at the NC2A meet, finishing 30th All-American. Right now, he looked really good last weekend in Louisville. In his first effort out for this campaign, and kind of rust burner for him. I expect to see him having a really good run this weekend. He's going to lead the team. He's got the green light, as we say, and we expect to see him up front with the leaders. Andy?
Mick, given the quality of the field, the number of teams that are in here, would suggest that this is a pretty good meet. What's the attraction for these teams? Is it just your quick wit and personality, or what? How have you brought? How have you built this event to the point that it is?
Certainly, the Thomas Zimmer Championship Cross Country course has a lot to do with it. We do a great job in maintaining the course. You go out there and it looks like the fairways of the golf course. It's very similar to that. Big open spaces, big alleyways, great spectator alleyways. It's a fantastic spectator course. I expect we'll have a big crowd out there. The fact that we have all these teams competing in one race, as opposed to the old pre-national format where it used to be they break the race up because of the size into 2 different races. And it's like comparing apples and oranges. Here it's 20 of the best teams in the country, top 30 teams are coming here, and they're going to compete against each other. You walk away at the end of the day, you know exactly where you stack up. Also, there's points, at-large points, to be grabbed from for the NC2A qualification, and that's got a lot to do with it.
AJ?
How has Sarah Descens improved from last year to this year?
Last year she was considered mainly a miler. Done a lot of work, a lot of distance work, base work over the summer, and has dropped a few She looks real healthy, looks real fit, dropped a few pounds, and she looks just extremely fit right now. And last week showed that.
Andy?
Mick, given the quality of the course that you just talked about and the teams that are here, what's standing between this school and an NCAA championship meet at that facility?
We've had several dress rehearsals now. We have obviously the Adidas meet. We host again this year the regional meet. I think we're ready for it. I think we're positioning ourselves to put in a bid. We've talked at length about it. And now it's just, do we want to host it? Do we want to host it for multiple years? And I think that's going to be an issue. The course can certainly hold a number of competitors and spectators. Obviously, an issue is parking, but we hope to be able to resolve that. I think we have to start working closely with the town of Verona. If you do an economic study on what we bring, the Adidas meet brings to the city of Verona over this week alone, with the number of hotel rooms and restaurants, I think we'd be pretty surprised. So I think we have to take that information, bring it to Verona, ask them for help to figure out the parking situation, because at the next level, an NC2A meet, obviously we're talking 10, 15,000 spectators. But I don't think that's an impossible task.
You said earlier that this meet is kind of like the measuring stick at this point in the season. Having said that, what do you hope to see from your team this weekend at the Adidas meet?
Well, certainly, let's take the women. I mean, coming off a big win in Louisville, they're kind of positioned themselves to hopefully be in the top 5 or 6 teams and grab some big points for NC2A qualification. That makes things a little bit easier as you head into the Big Ten championship, because you just don't know what's going to happen. We're not real deep. I think we're very good up front. And at this time of year, you just don't know with the weather. The weather's changing rapidly around here, and you want to keep kids healthy. And I'm talking not just the injury stuff, but also colds and flus and stuff. So, we certainly want to be in the top 5 or 6 teams on Friday. And grab some points for NC2A qualification. I think we're capable of doing that. We've got 4 pretty strong runners up front, and we just need someone to back them up there in the 5th scoring spot. And I think on the men's side, it's the same. A couple of those young guys, redshirt guys from last year, stepped up big time in Louisville, and we're going to need some of that on Friday. We've got some cards that we have to play yet, and maybe it's Friday is the time for us to, show what we have in terms of some of our younger guys. But Malachy and Michael Van Voorhis are, I've no doubt that they'll do their job up front, and we just need to get that supporting cast. It's very easy in a race like this to get lost and get overwhelmed, but hopefully we've prepared our kids mentally for that part of it, because a lot of these kids are just not used to running in a field. You could be running 50, 60, 70th place and think you're not running well, but you could actually be doing very well.
Andy?
Mick, both the men and the women are top 15 programs. But given that you're coaching the women for the first time, given that you lost a lot of guys from the men's team, frontliners from the men's team, can you make a case that you're rebuilding in both sides, or is that far-fetched?
I never like to use those terms, the rebuilding phrase. My very good buddy, Thomas the Builder, always talks about building a big foundation. And you can't build a house unless you have a good foundation. So, for us right now, I think we're building that foundation. We've been spoiled a little bit over the last couple of years with some of those guys like Muhammad, Reed Connor, Maverick Darling, Elliot Krause. Those guys they laid a great foundation, I think. And some of the younger guys understand what their responsibilities are now. And I think that's what we're trying to do. We're trying to build from that foundation of the last 3 or 4 years. And I don't think we're rebuilding. We've got some good young freshmen that somewhere along the line here will probably will put out in a uniform.